440 here on the Steve Hallstrom Show. One thing that is not silly is when we find out about great local businesses that are up-and-comers and getting really cool awards or grants or new projects. And I love learning about other businesses. As the president of our company and one of the owners here, I enjoy hearing about what's going on in the other pieces of our commercial circle here in the community. And so with that, we are pleased to be joined on the Valley Christian Counseling and Wellness phone line today by Terri Zimmerman, the CEO of a company called APFIT Digital in Fargo. Terri, good afternoon. Welcome to the show. Thanks for joining me today.
Good afternoon, Steve. It's a pleasure to join you today. I'm excited to be on your show. I grew up in Hannah, North Dakota, and as a farm kid, the radio was always on. So I'm excited to have a moment on the radio with you.
Yeah, you and I grew up the same way then. I did too. We had the radio on all the time, and when it wasn't country music, it was talk radio. And it's, still a lot of my life is talk radio and some country music too. So thanks for doing this, Terri. Let me first of all, before we get into the information about what your company is doing right now and some of the really cool things that are happening to you, tell us a little bit about APFIT Digital. What do you all do?
All right. Well, at APFIT Digital, we build batteries for autonomous systems. So think something in the air like a drone, or in space like satellites, and even navigating submersibles with battery systems. So we got our start in 2003 and really cut our teeth on building really small computer chips, maybe about the size of a little smaller than your fingertip, and we built some military chips that were integrated into some radios for the Marines. And when they were looking for an extended endurance drone, they turned to us to build a battery. And in 2014, we built our first battery and our first power module for drones, and we transformed that platform from a 90-minute flight time into one capable of flying for 15 to 18 hours.
Wow, that's amazing. I struggled to build a fantasy football lineup every weekend, and then I hear about people like you all who are building batteries and computer chips and things like that, and I say, thank goodness that the good Lord created a lot of us with a lot of different abilities, because if it were left to Steve Hallstrom to come up with these things, we would be in bad shape here in our country. What a wonderful story. How did this whole thing start?
Well, we got started building chips and just kind of gradually transitioned to looking for markets that had a good trajectory. We were focused on sort of the wave towards electrification and sort of the momentum behind autonomous systems. So we were really looking to build power systems in one of those markets. And after that first success with the Marines, we got the attention of the Pentagon, and the Pentagon was like, well, if you can take minutes to hours, can you take hours to days? And so we were successful in achieving multi-day flight for them, and that really gave us tremendous visibility in the aerospace and defense market, and we started signing commercial contracts.
Wonderful. So how many people work for your company altogether now, Terri?
We have about 70 people right now, and about 2 years ago, we only had about 40 people, and we're hiring another 40 people in 2026.
Wow, that is a growth pattern for sure. That's fantastic. Are you are you privately held? Are you an LLC, a corporation? What's your structure of ownership, Terri?
Yes, we are an LLC. Pat Sweeney and I are the largest investors. Pat owns the Fargo Jet Center and weather modification. He's always been super passionate about aviation, innovation, and customer satisfaction, and that was just a tremendous fit for us, and he's one of our largest investors. And he also works in the industry that's very similar to ours, drones and aviation and aerospace. We have several investors across North Dakota, including farmers, entrepreneurs, and investors.
What a great story. What's your background, Terri? How did you come up through the professional ranks to the position you have now as the lead executive there?
I went to UND and I worked for Deloitte and Touche in Minneapolis, a large public accounting and consulting firm, and Great Plains Software, which was a company here in Fargo working on mid-market accounting applications, enterprise applications. They hired me to be the chief financial officer, and I came to Fargo and was happy to be back in North Dakota where my family was, and worked with Great Plains, and was excited to be part of some innovators, and worked with Doug Burgum, and he kind of changed how I thought about things. I kind of came in as a hard-hitting business person, and he really looked at let's take care of customers and employees, and focus a lot of emphasis on the human resources side and taking care of employees. And so that really sort of transformed how I thought about things. And so I left Great Plains and worked for a couple other companies. So I've been a C-suite executive, and sort of bringing those principles of culture is one of the most important things inside an organization. And here we really focus on innovation, collaboration, and we've really been successful in hiring people that really embrace those shared values.
What a great story. What a great story. So, Terri, as you look at how Packet Digital has grown, tell me what you think the keys to the growth for your company have been. Why have you been able to grow and develop your company the way that you have? What's kind of been the secret of your success, do you think?
I do think our shared values and the culture we have is creating an environment where we've been able to build an amazing team. We have an incredible team that leads, and they just continue to expand the capabilities of our company. We focus on innovation and bringing key technologies. If you just kind of really reflect over how we've grown, we started out as just a small team in the Radisson Tower in 2020. We now have 4 facilities across Fargo. In 2021, we moved into our South University headquarters, and we thought, we are all set for the future. And in 2 years, we expanded another 25,000 square feet for a battery pack factory on 7th Avenue North. And we have our own surface mount technology line where we produce our own circuit boards. And we're now doing construction, expanding an additional 80,000 square feet. We expect that to be complete next year, and that'll be home for our new Badline battery cell factory and R&D center. So as you can kind of tell, we have a lot of capabilities that we've really built since 2020, and it's really those team members that have leaned into the vision and the mission of where we're going, of empowering autonomous systems, and just continue to expand our capabilities across innovation, R&D, engineering, and really all aspects of our business, and our ability to take that innovation into prototype and then bring it into manufacturing. And we really saw the importance of building it at home. And we felt the squeeze kind of during the pandemic of the supply chain. And so we made a strategic decision to focus on building capabilities here at home in Fargo, and focused on the supply chain itself. And so that sort of, I think, made a difference as, the United States government and our Department of War have realized we've relied on adversaries for products, especially in the battery space, since we've started making a U.S.-made solution and focused on reliability and defense-grade solutions. We've found ourselves in the sweet spot with a team with amazing capabilities to deliver reliable U.S.-made solutions.
Wow, and it's not a surprise to me when you give your kind of the synopsis of how you have grown your company. You've got obviously very smart and talented people on the design side, but when I hear you talk about that attention to culture, and you're calling your employees teammates or team members, that's no secret why you've grown, because when you put that high-end technology piece and the thinking piece together, along with that environment where you try to create a place that people really want to be a part of and connect within the workplace. That's how great businesses are built. And so no surprise to see that great things have happened. So congrats on all that you have done. You recently secured a big award from a kind of a federal agency to help with some things that are going to be able to make a big difference for our country. Tell us a little bit about what's been happening recently here with your company.
Steve, thanks for asking about that. We are really thrilled about winning this APFIT procurement award. It accelerates production of high-performance batteries for us, particularly around uncrewed unmanned systems, drones, and we'll be deploying systems for the military across the Navy, Army, Air Force, and SOCOM. It really was a very rigorous month-long evaluation of our capabilities in a very competitive environment. So as you mentioned, this is up to a $50 million procurement award for military purchases of the batteries from our facilities here in Fargo, North Dakota. And it really, I feel, underscores the Department of War's confidence in our ability to deliver trusted American-made solutions, really accelerating the delivery of meaningful hardware directly to the warfighter.
Well, and when you talk about a $50 million award or up to that to fulfill that order, the part of it that really jumps out to me is American-made products going to American defense systems, UAS systems, that are very important to the Department of War. And thank you for being specific on that, because that's how we refer to that department these days around here as well. And boy, is there anything better than a Fargo-based company making products that we need for our defense and for our war systems, and knowing it's happening just right here in our own backyard. It's a fantastic development, and it's a lot of fun for us to follow along on this ride. And a lot of us are getting to know you now here as we go through this interview together, and it'll be fun to see what happens with you down the line. Before I let you go and before we finish up the conversation, any last comments you want to give about your company's growth or what you hope to be able to do in the future based on this award or some of the other things that you're doing?
Thanks. We're really pushing the boundaries at Packet Digital. We've achieved multi-day flight. We've set the world record for wireless power beaming. We're now focused on scaling our advanced battery technology right here in North Dakota. We hope we continue to see the growth that we've seen in this space, create more jobs in the region, and deliver innovation that makes a real impact. So thank you for having me on the show, and thank you for your voice in the community.
Well, it's been so fun to learn about your company here through the press releases from our friend Jake, who has sent these things along the way, and then the visit today. Terri, thank you very much for taking the time. Congratulations again for what you've done, making our community great, making our country better and more safe as well. We appreciate it all.
All right. Thank you.
Take care. Thanks very much for the time. Terri Zimmerman, CEO of Fargo-based Packet Digital. What a cool story that is.